My name is Angel Thomas, and I am the host of Love Talk. I'm a licensed financial professional, and my goal is to help you build and protect your wealth. Here on Love Talk, my goal is to inspire you and encourage you to be the best version of yourself. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And remember to believe in yourself. This month on Love Talk, we're celebrating love and life. We had the privilege of sitting down with Tracey and Cheri Syphax. Let's jump right on into things.
Yes, how are y'all doing today?
Great. Oh, I love your pictures back there. Some of our favorite women.
Mine too. Yes, ma'am. I had to look and I included myself.
Hey, I know that's right.
Yeah.
Always.
Yes, ma'am. So I just want to thank y'all so much for being a guest here on Love Talk. I ran across y'all's page using hashtags and just going through y'all's page. I knew I had to get y'all on here because y'all just exude just Black excellence and Black love, and just y'all are just so fierce and fiery. And I'm like, they got to be on Love Talk. They have to.
Well, we are happy to be here and always honored to be on someone's platform where they allow us to share our thoughts and all those things and just trust us with their audience. I mean, I think that's a really big thing for people to trust you with their audience. So we appreciate that.
Without a doubt. And my intentions today are just to share your love story, to share you all's business ventures, and just celebrate Black love here on Love Talk, because all month long we're celebrating love and life. So having y'all on here is definitely beautiful for me. So before we get started, what city and state are y'all tuning in from?
We are in Trenton, New Jersey, the state capital.
Oh, wow. I'm from New Orleans, but I'm actually in Houston, Texas right now.
Okay. I hear a little bit of that New Orleans accent.
Okay. But before we dive into
one of my favorite cities.
Really? So y'all been to New Orleans?
Oh, yes, several times. Absolutely. Yes. When I was younger, I used to go to the Bayou Classic. I've been to the Essence Festival before COVID. Me and my daughters did girl trips there. Me and my friends did girl trips there many years ago. So yeah, New Orleans is that kind of city.
So y'all are familiar. I love it. So before we dive into just the heart of this conversation, I want to allow you all to just tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Okay, well, I usually introduce us. I am Cheri Syphax. This is my husband, Tracey Syphax. I am the host of the Leader and Lover podcast. He is an author and entrepreneur. He wrote the book From the Block to the Boardroom. And we met online 2 weeks after COVID. Saw each other for the first time 2 months after that on May 22nd of 2020. Mm-hmm. He proposed New Year's Eve of that year, and we were married May 22nd of 2021, an exact year from the date of that. And I always go through that story because you can meet men online. There are so many ways and places to meet people. I get it asked all the time, where are the good men? They are wherever they are. Mm-hmm. But being online gives you an expanded audience of maybe people that you wouldn't potentially meet, or you may meet them and not be in the space where you would engage together. And I give you the example, Tracey and I have been in places. I moved to Philadelphia. My job moved me to Philadelphia from California. And because it's so close to Trenton, he's been honored in the city. They have different events in the city. And we've been in the same space and didn't connect, but connected online. So that's why I always tell that story. I also tell the story that he proposed 7 months later, because so often women stay in relationships for a long time waiting for a man to propose. Men know what they want. Mm-hmm. And the way we dictate and navigate those relationships gets us that result. And he married me a year later. Again, masculine, provider, protector men know what they want, and they will make a commitment if they feel it's a healthy partnership. Absolutely. So that is my story. I'm sticking to it, and that's who we are.
Yes, I love it. And one thing, I just want to put this out here. I do my research, and I went through all of your Instagram, your website. It's beautiful. And I have to put this out there in the beginning. Y'all look good.
Oh, thank you.
Good. You're welcome. And that's why I'm just so excited, because a lot of time, oftentimes people, as they age and get older, they don't really, it's like they don't tap into their sexy, or their, they're grown and sexy. But guess what? Y'all tapped in.
That's us.
That's y'all.
I'm really a big proponent of really tapping into your femininity. I think that's what attracts things to us. I've always thought, you'd have an amazing life, you be an amazing person, you have an amazing life. Someone that I follow, April Mason, always says that, and I believe that to be true, and I have embraced that as part of my mantra. And so having an amazing life means keeping yourself healthy, looking and keeping yourself up. My husband works out. He takes care of himself. The other piece is when we get a certain age, I just turned 52 on Wednesday. When we get a certain age, and we got married we met when I was 15, got married at 51. When we get a certain age, especially for Black women, they almost like say that you are not going to meet a handsome man. It's almost as if the man has to be bald and fat. Now, bald and fat men need love too, and they are amazing men too. However, if we're looking at what social norms are, that is a stereotype that is not the most attractive. So the bottom line is as if we have to take whatever's left over, and that is definitely not the case. I believe when you are your best self, you will attract what the universe has for you.
Absolutely.
And as you speak, we're going to hear from you too, Mr. Tracy.
And he can talk. He can talk.
As you speak, I just see and hear your confidence. Mm-hmm. And I love, and I this is our first time meeting, and I just hear that confidence. And me being 27, I'm like, okay.
Man,
Go ahead, Mr. Tracy.
I was just going to say you get the opportunity to meet vintage Cheri Syphax and Tracey Syphax. So absolutely, yes. And it is truly an honor, Angel, to be on this platform with you. I did read some of your stuff as you and Cheri has been conversing for the past week. So it's definitely an honor to be here and to be here with my queen for sure.
Beautiful. And I keep saying Cheri. It's Cheri, correct? Cheri?
Cheri, yep.
Cheri. Okay, I'm sorry about that. So you all take online dating profiles from mundane to magnificent. Y'all help people find the love that they deserve and they desire. So I really want to tap into just the facts. But before we do that, y'all have been seen in Oprah Daily, Philly Mag, New York Times, and Essence. And Miss Cheri, in Oprah's Daily, you stated how you had to start doing the internal work, and that's how you found love at 50. Now let's talk about the internal work, because I'm 27 and I'm starting to do that internal work, and it's hard. It's nothing easy. It's something that you have to really put your mind to and start doing that. So what pushed you to start to do that internal work so that you can find your beautiful husband at 50 years old?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And it is not easy. So really, it was multiple stages, but I think there was a point where I started recognizing that even though I had relationships, they weren't great. And I had a decent career, but it wasn't anything spectacular. And there were just things about my life that I wanted to change. And then in 2012, I had a diagnosis of breast cancer. And when you have a life-changing situation, it really transformed your mind. And you start thinking like, okay, if I die tomorrow, am I happy with where I am now? So that diagnosis had me start thinking about, wow, what caused me at that time, 42, to have cancer when cancer wasn't in my family? And I just had to think it had to be the things that were going on in my life. You know, I always say, you know, cancer saved my life. It really did, because I had to think about all the toxic relationships, whether they were friendships, romantic relationships, job, things that I was holding on to. And so I just started really exploring that. I went and got a master's at a college that is St. Mary's, and they do a lot of mindfulness work and a lot of energy work. And that was just what I needed. They say it's in leadership, and it's, if you don't know who you are, you can't be a great leader. So I really got to understand and know my core values. What was really important to me? Things like safety, security, familiarity, convenience, those things, comfort, those things kept me stuck, and they kept me small. They kept me in a relationship for 10 years that was not healthy. They kept me in a job that I was not passionate about. Those types of things we don't realize, they just keep us stuck and keep us in a way where we're not taking chances and risk and growing. And I just started challenging myself and saying, I don't want to be safe all the time. I don't want to be doing the comfortable thing. So I just started taking risks, ended up changing careers after I went through that program. And the job asked me to move to Philadelphia. I knew nobody. I was 45, whole new career, where people said, oh, you're gonna go to the East Coast where they are not nice, where they will not accept you. You're in a whole new career at this age. How will you learn that? I'm in medical devices. So I came from tech to medical devices, and people just were negative. And I was like, you know what, that's not gonna be my experience. I got a personal coach who really helped me understand how I needed to be better. And she was great. She, the first time I was running late, and I was late, and she was like, so I'm gonna tell you, and I was just just do, and I'm a salesperson, so I can always talk about why I'm late and, oh, I'm doing this and these fabulous things, so my apologies. And she says, so I'm gonna tell you this, I'm gonna give you 1 minute and you will still pay me for the hour. You either respect my time or respect yourself. You have to be, when you say something to yourself and you commit to yourself, if you can't commit to yourself, you can't commit to anything else in life, because you are the most important. She just, she snatched my edges and got me in shape. And that was transformative for me. People had not really made me accountable. That's why I am big on women being accountable. I don't subscribe to he was this and he was a narcissist and he was that. I subscribe to you saw some yellow flags before it went that left. You were in it for some wrong reasons, because we've all been in relationships because we like the sex or the money or didn't want to be lonely or didn't want to try something different. So she made me so accountable. And that started my journey, meditating, saying positive affirmations, listening to people like Abraham Hicks and Neville Goddard, really going inside and knowing that everything I needed was inside of me. All the external stuff that I was living for, oh, the lawyer boyfriend, because that looked good, none of that mattered at all. The list I had made, the education I was trying to strive for, the career I was trying to have, none of that mattered if internally I wasn't complete. And I just did all the work and got complete. Was celibate for 2 years. I dated, but I was celibate for 2 years. I said, I'm gonna date myself. I'm gonna date men where I can create boundaries. Hey, I'm just dating because right now I'm invested in myself. So if you're okay with dating, that's fine. If not, that's okay too. You know, just really starting a whole new way of how I was navigating my life. And that was my journey. Wow. And it ultimately found this man finally came into my life, but every other aspect of my life changed. I came to Philadelphia. I have an amazing group of friends in Philadelphia, people that 3 years ago I did not know, and today are people at my wedding and in my wedding. My career, I've been promoted every year in my career, and I'm a Black woman in medical devices. That's almost unheard of. And to be continually promoted, more responsibility, more revenue, the whole 9 yards. So really my whole life transformed. And the final product and the final like bow on the package was him. And so that was my journey.
And I love how you're so transparent in just putting that out there, because even on your post, when you said about when you were diagnosed with breast cancer in 2012, I went through the comments and so many women, they were like, thank you for this. You know, they started telling their story. So I think us telling our stories and helping other people is very inspiring. So I love how you tell other women this, because so many women need it. And Mr. Tracey, you say that you often get the question, why remarry at 58 when you have less time ahead of you than behind you? So when you hear that question, how do you respond?
It was easy. It was easy. And she mentioned it early. Men know what they want. I had no intentions of remarrying. I had just got out of a 33-year marriage. I'm a successful entrepreneur running multiple businesses. It wasn't in the cards, but I knew I wanted a partner. I am a commitment person. I am a long-term person. So I knew I wanted a person to commit to long-term. And me being foolish, that entails marriage, Tracey. So I had to understand that. And when I found her, it was just the perfect match. She gives me everything that I need. And one of our slogans that we say when we met is that, you know, we want to find someone that's compatible with each other, someone that's not an enemy of our greatness, but someone that supports us, that encourages us to be better. And when she came into my life, she did just that. And it was just a perfect storm. So it was easy for me to make that decision to remarry. It was easy for me to put down my guard and to be vulnerable and to have someone in my life that I could look forward to spending the rest of my life with. Marriage is a beautiful thing. And one of the things I realized that Black love is beautiful, and it just exhorts. It really does.
Black love is so beautiful. And I think that oftentimes it gets highlighted in not such a good light. So that's why I really want to celebrate Black love here on Love Talk, especially marriage. And I'm young and I've been married, almost 4 years this year. And it's amazing. It's hard. It's hard, but it's definitely worth it. And I love what you said, that men know what they want. And I think us as women need to understand that men know what they want. And like you say, you talked about flags. When we see those red flags, those yellow flags, we need to address it, or, you know, not tuck it away. And then once we get married down the line, we're like, so why are you like this? but the truth is you saw that in the beginning, but you ignored it, you know? So that is so important. But like I said, I just want us to celebrate Black love here today. And one thing about marriage is, once you get married, that big day is here. You spent all the money on the photographers. You had a great time. It's amazing. But one thing we have to do is remain firm on those vows. And after you come down and you're just like, okay, this is marriage, I'm really married. How do you keep those vows intact after the big day is over? And I would love to hear both of y'all's perspective. And I say that because we usually just have the woman's perspective, but to have both of y'all on here, I really would love to hear both of y'all's perspective.
Right, I can go for it. Well, I think number one, which is real important, is the communication part. As you said, you know, we have things in relationship, and you know, one thing about relationship, it's a give and take thing. But I think when you do it with grace, style, understanding, compassion, being feminine, being the woman that you are, I think that makes a ton of difference. And I think that whole communication piece between me and my wife was really has kept us grounded. Like she said, we check in every Sunday. Every Sunday, we sit down before church and we have these conversations about how we feel, what's going on with you, connecting with each other again, you know, some of our goals that we are trying to accomplish that week, and what has bothered us, what has rubbed you the wrong way, what have I done, or, you know, that maybe have made you upset this week. And we have those conversations, and we don't have them during the week. We wait until Sunday, because come Sunday, you're calm, you're kind of not in your feelings about what happened, and you're able to have a legit conversation between two adults, because we're both are real grown. So we can have those grown-up conversations and be all right afterwards. And I think that's real important.
I think, and he nailed it on the head, but I also think that one of the things that men really can become vulnerable is when we create a safe space for them. Mm-hmm. So I think creating a safe space for Tracey and us being able to have those conversations and never like bringing up something that he's entrusted me with, you know, those types of things. And it's not easy all the time. We had a difficult conversation this morning, as a matter of fact. However, it took both of us to remember how much we love each other and how the only way we're going to get to any resolution is by communicating. And as much peace as he says I create for him, he creates that same peace for me. So I can be really vulnerable. In past, I've always been the one to be the strong one or not quite show my, you know, my weaknesses or what have you. And now I know that I have someone who totally wants to hear them. And sometimes I just have to say, that was on me. I felt X, Y, or Z way. So I think when we're all accountable in our relationship, and my vows, I don't know if my vows are online. My vows weren't really about him. My vows were about me and me being a better person. Because if I'm a better person, then I can be a better wife to him. It's not about me promising him to do X, Y, or Z. It was about me promising him that I would always try to be a better me.
I love it. And one thing y'all talked about is peace. And I would love to get your perspective on this, Mr. Tracey, when it comes to peace, because oftentimes, and I'll speak for myself a little bit, we're in our mind a lot as women. And we want everything. Okay, I'll speak for myself. I want everything to go how I want it to go, you know, which I know is not healthy, but oftentimes we create this chaos in the home when a man steps outside the home, the world is already chaos. So the home is supposed to be peace. How does peace affect a man? Peace in the home really affect a man?
Well, I think number one, we have to say, okay, a Black man, because Black men face more than any other man on this earth when it comes to what we face in the outside world. So as a serial entrepreneur, someone who manages multiple businesses, who lives in this purpose. I'm heavily involved in criminal justice reform. So I walk in my purpose every single day. So I go out and fight those battles every single day. And to have that peace and to come home and to have that safe space, like she said, is so, so important. And it's not just me as a serial entrepreneur. I believe that's true for every Black man that has to go out there and fight those battles every day. So I think as a Black woman, we have to make sure that that we're providing that space for our men. And she does that consistently she does that. So I think it's just so important. And for someone like me, it means the world to me, because even the Bible says, and I'm a builder, I'm a carpenter. The Bible said it's easier for a man to go up and live up the uttermost corner of an attic than to live in a house where the quarrels are women. That's Bible. That ain't Tracey talk. That's Bible talk. And, so to say that in the Bible, it's so true. Men, we need to have that space in our home where we have that peace. Men provide. Men provides the shelter. Men can put it together. Men can nail it together. But it's up to a woman to provide that home for that house that he's built. And she does that consistently.
Now, Miss Cheri, talk to us a little bit. Tell us how are some ways that we can start to provide that peace if we don't know where to even start.
Right. And that's the challenging part, right? Because I coach women and I coach professional executive women on how to tap into themselves, how to tap into their femininity, and how to talk to a man's heart, not his head. Unfortunately, the way society is, the way that, our men aren't always available due to, them being locked up and just all the other issues that really plague our communities, we've had to do a lot by ourselves. We've had to be single parents. We've had to do a lot of the heavy lifting for the family, if you will. And in that, so we're getting our education so we can get that good job. So we're really climbing those executive stairs. But what that does is it really leans us into that masculine space. It gets us into that. I'm so independent that I don't need anyone. Or we get to doing things so innately by ourselves that we don't even recognize when a man is trying to lead you or a man is trying to court you. You don't even know how to be courted or led. Some of the women honestly tell me, I don't want him to open the door. I don't want him thinking anything, or I can do it myself. For a man that's really a provider, that doesn't allow him into your life. And that allows him, and Tracey can answer this part, but what I've observed in research is that a man says, hey, then that's difficult. I don't want to have to do that. So if we don't just allow a space for a man to come in and really be that provider, be that protector, profess for us, then that's where we're not creating that safe space. The other piece is we always want to be a listener. We don't want to always be fixing or trying to solve. Sometimes we just need to be there. Tracey's really, really quiet because he's more of an introvert. And I'll ask him one time, you okay? If he says yes, I leave it alone. I used to be, you sure? What's wrong? I mean, not with him, but with other men. Like, what's wrong? Sometimes men just need to figure it out and fix it themselves. We don't need to be a pest and fix everything. And then when we're just in our feminine space, it just creates an aura and an environment that's just so much more relaxing. I mean, your man don't want you cussing him out just because he did something wrong or he didn't pick this up or he didn't do that. For the most part, that man is out there in the trenches every day trying to provide a household for us. So for me, and what I help women understand is the more that we can create that environment that's a soft place for them to land, the better provider they will be and the more they will fall more deeply in love with us. And then how do we communicate when we're not happy? Do we say something like, and I give everyone this example when we were dating, Tracey didn't call me all the time, but Tracey's busy. And now I know because I'm his wife. But at the time, you don't know. You're like, is he with somebody else? What's going on? That's what we think, right? And that's what our girlfriends are telling us. He's fine. He may be with somebody else. But the reality is this, hey, I'm an only child. And I am the first grandchild, and I was doted on, and my parents worshiped the ground I walked on. So I am spoiled. And when people tell me they like and love me, I need to know it by their actions. So currently, I don't hear from you enough. If you really say you like me as much as you like me, I need to know I'm on your mind more often. And what that looks like for me is that you can call and check in on me more often. And that's how I said it. I didn't say you don't call me enough. I didn't say none of that. And his response was, I didn't know. I didn't want you to think I was stalking you. I was like, I'm an only child. I'm spoiled. Stalking is good, So I could have communicated that so many other ways that may have made it off-putting or made him defend himself or made him think like, oh shoot, I better not say anything or whatever. So it's all in our words. Are we talking to here or are we talking to here?
It's the new year, and it's time to get your finances in order. Angel is not only the host of Love Talk, but she's also a licensed financial professional. As a licensed financial professional, her job is to help you build and protect wealth. But in order to do that, you have to first create a plan. Contact Angel today at 504-295-0807 and mention Love Talk to receive a complimentary personal financial strategy. What are you waiting for? We don't plan to fail. We just simply fail to plan. Let's create a plan today.
And I love what you say about that. And it all just sounds like communication is key. And it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And that's so important because oftentimes we perceive things our way and our way only. Yes. And like you said, he didn't want to come off as stalkerish, but you wanted, him to be calling you, but it just took for you to communicate that to him. And he was like, oh, I didn't even know. So that's why communication is so important.
It absolutely is.
And I would love to talk about JUSTTHEPHAX for a second, y'all's business venture, because that is just amazing that you all do that. And I think that you all use y'all's life experience to be able to help other people, because I say you have to go through something to be able to help people, in a way that can be effective to them. And JUSTTHEPHAX is y'all equip singles with the tools that help them get out of their own way and begin attracting the partner they desire. So how was JUSTTHEPHAX birthed?
Ooh, so funny enough, it's because our last name is Syphax. We've been able to do a lot of play on that PHAX part. Mm-hmm. And before we even got married, we were talking about something that's like JUSTTHEPHAX or Facts of Life. And we were just touring things around. And Tracey had gotten a logo for JUSTTHEPHAX and was using it in some other parts of our business. And then we got married. And every magazine picked us up. Like, it's been a whirlwind. And we just started talking about dating facts and then just the facts about life. So that's how it's like evolved. And it's our bigger umbrella under some of our, other ventures. But as it comes to the dating piece, I've been an advocate for women forever. And I believe, my mother was a Black Panther, and I've just always been a really strong advocate for women in our community. I truly believe you heal us as women, we are the birthplace of civilization, then you heal the world. As long as Black women are not complete and we're not healed, we're always going to have problems in our community. So that was where my Leader and Lover podcast came from, where I talk about Black women having it all and showing real examples of good friendships and good relationships and how executives are navigating successfully and just how we really can have these full relationships. Because I think there's this trope out here that Black women are always bitter, that they don't help each other, that they're mad and they're single. And there's some of us that are, but there's a lot of us that aren't. And I've been fortunate enough to come across the path. So the reason why I've been able to come across and attract those people is because of me, of what I put into myself. And I know that works. And that's what I try to help other women get that experience. I have women that are PhDs. I have doctors, amazing from the outside, but then on the inside, no self-esteem, low self-esteem, not understanding any dating, doing crazy things that you would not think a woman of that caliber would do, all because of all the trauma that they haven't addressed, the bad relationships they haven't looked at, just all those things. So that's where that part of the coaching program came. And so I have a 3-month coaching program where we tap into the genius within, we tap into getting into your femininity, we work on how you communicate with others, not just men, but others, because we were at a meeting the other day and I just finally had to, and I don't like to tell women to smile, but I was like, you're gonna have to smile. I mean, this is bark and bark and bark. We don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. So that's really where that aspect of our business evolved from, is starting with that podcast, my desire to help women, meeting my king, and that relationship really feeling like it cemented and it helped me walk in my purpose. Mm-hmm. And now I can inspire others, because getting married seems to be the thing that everybody wants. And now I have that part, and now I can help others walk down that road and have a better life.
Yes. And one of the coaching programs that you have is Activate Your Amazing. And that's one that really stuck out to me. You focus on 3 cornerstone segments. You focus on awakening your inner amazement, femininity and strength, and win with words. And one thing, we spoke about it earlier, but femininity is something that I think women need to tap into. Because you said it is the sweet spot, but many of us, we took on that masculine role, like you said, where I'm independent. I don't need a man. I don't want you. I don't need you. Why are you here? I got this. Even women that have a man in the house still aren't tapped into that. Yeah. But it's important. And I am speaking for myself. I'm learning that I need to really tap into that. Not only for me, but for my husband. A man don't want no hard woman. They don't, if that was the case, they could be with a man, but they, they want something that is soft and, a flower. So why is it so important for us as women to tap into our femininity? And I want to hear it from both perspectives.
Well, I think from the beginning, you just said it. A man we don't want hard. We're looking for, woman was created for a man. So opposite male attracts female. I want, as a masculine man, I want a woman that's soft, that's sweet, that's not loud, that's not abrasive, that's not, that's what I want in a woman as a man. And I'm pretty sure a lot of other men want that also. So it's just so very important that women walk in their femininity. Nobody wants to talk to a woman that say, I don't need you. I don't need a man. I got my own S. And a lot of women lead with that. I've met women online that lead with, listen, I really don't need you. I'll have a conversation with you. It's so off-putting because, it just really is. And I think really Black women, because that's all I dated. I need a Black woman. I need a Black queen in my life. And that's all I dated. So from my perspective, with Black women, yes, you have to go back to being the queen that you are to attract the king that you really want.
And from my perspective, there's so many layers of that. I've grown up and I try to coach women, we want to show how intelligent we are. We want to show why we should be at the table. We want to use big words and show you our education and all that. And none of that helps in work or in personal. It doesn't. So when we tap into our femininity, that's our real natural space. That's really who we are. So there's so much more power in our natural space than there ever is in a facade or a veil of mimicking manhood or mimicking masculinity. And so when we're more feminine, we get many more bees with honey than we do with vinegar. When you look at some women, they walk into a room, they command it. They're light. That's all their feminine essence. That's all their feminine aura. Rarely do you see a woman that's masculine and hard and be like, oh, wow, she's the light. No, you walk into a room. I walk into rooms sometimes. I can show you my inbox. Oh, your presence. Oh, it's just like you sense it. You feel it. And I'm not trying to do anything special. I'm just being me. But I've definitely worked on I think it's my natural essence anyway, but I've worked on it and been more focused and intentional on staying tapped into it through my meditation practice, through the books that I read and those types of things, because I do think that that's where our power lies. And powerful isn't always the loudest. Power isn't always the smartest. Power tends to be the most influential. And there have been wars fought for women and their femininity. So you are kidding yourself if you don't think that that is your secret weapon.
Yes. So just give us some tips on how we as women can begin. I know you do this in coaching, but just leave us with some gems on how we can begin to tap into that for a woman who is, I
started with meditation. That was really a great thing for me because I was the type that would get up in the middle of the night and be like, did I send out those emails? And wake up at 2 a.m, log my computer on and double check to make sure so I just wasn't letting my mind rest. I wasn't just relaxing. So I started with meditation. That's one place to really, really start. I also look at myself in the mirror naked. I look at the things that I love about my body and I touch them and I get close to them. And so I'm connected to myself, really working in my womb space. And I don't do this anymore, but I used to wear yoni eggs all the time. Rose quartz, because that's the crystal of love. And I would work on that and that would also help me. And then I have a book that I go through with my clients in our training program. And that also does a lot of exercises around when we say we don't need a man, what are all the things we need a man for? And all those things. So really those were like three practice things that you could do, but then it's all about what you consume, what you hear, who you're around, all those things.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of women out there who needs this, a lot of women who's going to watch Love Talk. So they need to connect with you. So how can they connect with you all?
Yeah. So on Instagram, we're at JUSTTHEPHAX. So JUSTPHAX. And then our website is www.justthethafax.com. We have content on YouTube under Just the Facts. And what else do we have, baby? I'm trying to think of everything. We got so many things going on.
Instagram, Facebook, social media.
Cheri and Tracey Syphax, you can always find us. And then my podcast is called the Leader and Lover Podcast. And I interview a lot of professional executive women and successful entrepreneurs and how they manage, navigate, and still keep things lovely and sexy in the bedroom.
Yes, I'll make sure I post all of that on this video and on my Instagram, everywhere, so people can definitely connect with you all. Now, not only do y'all help married people, but y'all also help single people find the love that they love. Yes. But you all are married, and there's a lot of married people out there that may have lost their spark or lost the fire. And it often happens a lot of times, and people don't know what to do. They end up leaving, they just sit there bored, and they're just like, well, what are we gonna do? So for people who are married, how do they relight that spark?
Well, I think it's all about finding someone's love language. One of the exercises that me and Cheri did when we first met, we talked about our love language and what did we like and what did we didn't like and all the things that turned us on. And I internalized that. And some of the things that she liked, I never did. But now I make sure I do them because I know that speaks directly to what she loves. So I think knowing your partner, understanding your partner, knowing their love language, and making sure you're pouring into them what they love. And that's what I try to do with her. I know she's a spoiled child. I know she likes to be doted on, so it's my job to actually do that. So I think it's very important that we hear our partners, that we listen to them, that we understand them, and that we give them what they want.
I love hearing that from your perspective, because a lot of men, I usually oftentimes don't hear men talk about a love language, or they don't even know what that is. But for you to be connected and tapped in with that, that's really big and that's amazing. And I feel like a lot of men should, really begin to dive into figuring out what love language is and what your partner's love language is. And something else that can lose their spark is a single person over 30 that may have not found their love yet, but they may feel as though, well, I don't know, it's over, I'm never going to find my love. So for somebody that's 30 and over that may have lost their spark within themselves, how can they begin to relight that so that they can find love?
So I'm just like 30. Y'all already
just can't
find in that 30. Y'all just forget it, right? Now I have bad relationships, but I have relationships. But all kidding aside, it's so interesting that even at that younger age, we're almost being taught to believe that there's no life at that point. What I tell women all the time is live a fabulous life. Take yourself to lunch, date yourself, send yourself flowers, buy yourself candles, have a really good girlfriend group that you can go out and hang out, go to the museum, do the things that you enjoy doing. You will find someone there. Go online. Online dating is exploding. There's so much there, but you have to have an amazing profile. So if you need that, that is one of my dating services that I provide. And you have to have amazing pictures. Don't take selfies in the bathroom. Like make your online presence like a resume for a job that you're trying to get, or your application for college. You know how much we put into all that? Put that same thing into dating and into yourself. A lot of self-care. Wear lingerie to bed because you want to feel good and sexy, not because you're doing it for someone else. So you're already setting yourself up to how you want to feel, and those things then start to go out and attract someone who will do that for you. But what I find is that I just lived an amazing life. And I keep saying that. And I know sometimes you have to quantify what that means, but really coming into a new city, finding out all about what was happening in the city, going to see an author, come to the Philadelphia Museum, or, just all those things. Don't be afraid to just put yourself out there, get out there. When you sit at the bar by yourself, so many men will come to you just because it's not common that people sit at a bar by themselves. I remember we were out at brunch a couple of weeks ago with some friends of ours, and a big old group of women came in, and Tracey was like, I wouldn't come talk to nobody. If you were in tribes, no man is going to come talk to you because they're afraid that maybe your girlfriends are going to say something about him, or, what have you. So go by yourself sometime. Not that you have to all the time, but go by yourself, be adventurous. Table for one. Yep. Table for one.
Absolutely. And I feel like that's so important. That's something that I used to always do, is go out by myself. I'm married now, but even now I still date myself. And, I take myself, I love the movies. I haven't been in so long. That's something I could put on my list. But, I like to just give myself that time because I'm a mom. I have 2 young kids, a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. And I just feel like sometimes I put myself on the back burner. So it's, yes, we have to make sure that we still love ourselves, and that helps teach other people how to love us. And that's what I'm learning every day.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And oftentimes I ask, it's always just usually one guest here on Love Talk. But since both of y'all are here and y'all are married, and like I said, y'all are this sexy couple, y'all are just doing the thing, I want y'all to tell each other why and how much you all love each other.
Oh, well, I just had to have that conversation this morning with my husband. And at our last live, I shared how much I love my husband. And I mean that, like, my husband, for my birthday, he's building a home for us. So first of all, the fact that he's building a home from the ground up for us to our specifications is just an amazing thing. It's so funny because my grandfather built my grandmother a house, and my husband reminds me so much of my grandfather, and he was like the most amazing man in the world to me. And so to have that experience is just, I can't even put it in words. But when he was talking about that love language piece, so I don't know if you read, I planned our first date, this fabulous first date, because he was not much of a dater as far as like planning. And I found out he was taking people to Starbucks. I was like, oh, clutch my pearls.
Coffee chat.
Ladies, are y'all letting a man take you to Starbucks? Anyway, no, just joking. But the contrast of that is he was taking people to Starbucks, and he's an amazing man. So you may miss out, but you want to elevate, you want to inspire them to elevate. So and I would always, for his birthday, I rented out a restaurant, had his family come, and we did a surprise. And then our wedding was like a 3-day extravaganza. So I just love to plan like really over the top things. And I recognize that. And I recognize that not everybody wants to do that. That's not important to everyone. And so I can't be mad at somebody else for not doing the things that I do, because that is not, they're not me. I'm uniquely me, they're uniquely them. I have to lean into the pieces about them that I love. So there's so much about Tracey that I love, that just because he didn't plan great dates, that's okay. Just as long as I can plan great dates and you come with me, I'm okay. But for my birthday last Wednesday, our house is under construction, like I said, but we have all the beams inside, the framing, we have the heat, the electricity, and he had a catered dinner come in with the musician. I don't think they put that on our social media yet, but they came in with the musician. And it was just so thoughtful and so unique. And then we went to Philadelphia, and then he sent me home to California because I was missing my family, and that's where I'm from. And so I just thought the whole thing was so thoughtful. Tracey historically hadn't put that much thought into things, because again, that's not important to him. But the fact that he did that meant the world to me. And then this morning we were having a difficult conversation. I was being a little pouty, which I usually am not. I'm usually the one that's calm and babe, and I'm using my communication skills that I teach other people. But every once in a while, you're not perfection, right? And so he just stopped me and was just like, I love you so much, and we communicate so well. We just have to remember. And he just started doing all this communication stuff that Tracey just doesn't historically do, And so I just was like, I just see his growth in those spaces. And it just makes me continue to fall in love with him more. And for me to want to be a better wife, like, it just always pushes me to want to be better. And so I just want to tell you how much I love you. I really do. I love you too. I really do.
Thank you.
Love it.
She said it all. She said it all. And, because of that and everything she said, she has made me a better person. She has. And this whole communication piece, she is absolutely right. I think today probably demonstrated my growth and how I am really leaning into that space where I can be vulnerable and have straight up conversations with the woman that I love and the woman that I profess to be with the rest of my life. And she's that person. And I always want to let her know that I am working on me to make our marriage better. To show her how much I really, really love and adore her, and just make sure I'm there for her. So, I love you, baby, just the way you love me, and we're perfect together.
I love it, Black love. Oh my goodness, I love it so much. And I want to thank y'all for being a guest here on Love Talk. But before we go, I close out with all of my guests. What is the philosophy that you live on and stand by?
So Tracey said a little bit earlier, and I want to make sure I got all of our words right. But one thing that we stand by, Pastor Darius, Tracey sent me early on in our relationship some videos by a local pastor, and he said something, and we just added to it. But it was someone who's suitable for my soul, necessary for my assignment, and then we added, and not an enemy to my greatness. So often couples are in competition with each other, or they're not aligned with each other. So, we want to be suitable for each other's soul. We want to be necessary for their assignments. Tracey is a busy man. He walks in his purpose. So in addition to being a developer and managing multiple properties and projects, he also does advocacy work for formerly incarcerated people. He does equity in cannabis. And so you have to be someone who's suitable for his soul and necessary for that assignment. It takes a special person with all the political pulls and just all the things that he's pulled to do to still be supportive of his purpose, and then not an enemy to your greatness. I know some couples that stay together and they start resenting each other and not wanting them to be great. I want him to shine bright. I want him to always be the light, and so that's, how I look at it. And this is not this relationship stuff. This is not his space, from a standpoint of a man who's being vulnerable and talking about relationship. He, I think he would admit he wasn't the best husband, and not always had some conversation around women and things like that. And so for him to be so supportive of me as I find my purpose and walk in it is just a blessing.
Yes. And I just want to, what about you, Mr. Tracey? Did you have anything?
No, I think she said it all. We live by that motto, just as well as she supports me in my purpose. She even said it, until we got together, until we got married, she didn't know what her purpose was.
Mm-hmm.
But as she had begun to be around me, we got together right before the George Floyd murder. Unrest and civil unrest in the city was at an all-time high with Black Lives Matter. And I actually watched her walk in her purpose as a corporate woman, a Black woman working in corporate America, where she is one of the only Black women in that high position, and how she was on Zoom calls, making sure the company understood the Black issues that was before us. It was just amazing to watch her. And now, and I know how much she loves Black women. Now she's walking in that purpose of helping Black women. And now it's just up to me to support her like she supports me.
Yes, I love it. And I just want to thank y'all for everything that y'all are doing. It's needed. It's appreciated. And I found y'all on social media. So I know a lot of people are finding y'all through y'all's page, through the hashtags. So I just want to send y'all some love to keep doing what you all are doing. I definitely see y'all. I'm thankful for you all, because like I said, I'm 27, and you said some gems that I'm going to go back and replay and write down and start doing for myself, So before we go again, just drop your handles, let everybody know where they can find you, because women need this.
Okay. So our website is www.JUSTTHEPHAX.com. You can find us on YouTube at JUSTTHEPHAX. And then our Instagram is at JUSTTHEPHAX. And then we're Cheri and Tracey Syphax, Syphax. You can Google us and you will find a lot of stuff.
Beautiful. And Mr. Tracey, I want to tell you, thank you for being vulnerable on here as a man, letting us know, just giving us some insight from the male's perspective. And also your wife mentioned that, that's not really your space, but thank you for, supporting her, because we need to be supported, and we support our men as well. So I want to thank y'all so much. This is not the first time we'll connect. We'll definitely stay connected. And thank y'all so much for being on Love Talk. Y'all have a good one.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank
this
you.
is amazing. Keep it up.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning into Love Talk. Remember to believe in yourself. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.